Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for joining. Um, just as we're letting people trickle in to the meeting, I invite you to just write quickly in the chat the name of your organization and where you're tuning in from today. So that's just while we let some more people in to the Zoom, and then we will get started shortly. Hey, amazing. Oh, from Montreal. Okay, well, I'm in Montreal today. So nice to see Centre Paul Roulant is here as well. Hello to Illinois, Los Angeles, New York, amazing. Arizona, Pennsylvania, really from all over. Ottawa, love to see it. It just makes me feel a little less alone in this Zoom room to know where everybody's coming from. So thank you all so much for joining today. So fun. And you guys also get a sense of who else is maybe using Zephy or thinking of using Zephy or is just interested in learning about more fundraising trends. So okay, I'll let the chat do its thing as people come in. Give it another minute or so before I launch into this. Oh, hello to the Kids Cancer Care of Alberta. Nice to see you. BC, Canada, Nova Scotia. Okay, so fun. All right, well, I think we're a pretty good group to kick this off. And as people come in, I invite you to drop the name of your nonprofit and where you're tuning in from today. But just to make sure that we have time to cover all of our material today and also answer all of your questions within the time that we have, I will get started. So today, we will be diving into 5 giving trends that every nonprofit should know to raise more in 2025. So just to quickly introduce myself, I said, so my name is Tanya, and I have been on the customer success team here at Zephy for 2 years. So if you have written into our support channels, we may have already interacted in the past. So hello again, if that's the case. And if this is the first time that we're interacting, well, I hope you enjoy the presentation. And I look forward to potentially interacting with you in the future if you ever write into our support team. So yeah, within my role, I help nonprofits troubleshoot anything that they need to be doing on the platform. So planning campaigns, discovering our features, and also just getting to know the platform in general. I host demos from time to time, which you may have also already attended. So yeah, touch on lots of different aspects. And today we'll be talking about some fundraising trends together, which I'm super excited to dive into. I also have my colleague Sumaya, who is also on the same team as me. So she will be answering any questions that come in through the Q&A. I encourage you to use the Q&A function to ask your questions. We'll be saving a question period for the end, but I'll see maybe if some come up as we go along. We'll see how we're doing on time and if I can take some as we go as well. Okay, so just some general sort of housekeeping. I'm planning on talking about all of these great fundraising trends for about 45 minutes with Q&A at the end, as I was saying. So you can submit your questions in the Q&A function, and Sumaya will be responding throughout, and then I'll answer a few live at the end. And before anyone asks, very popular question, the webinar will be recorded and sent out to you at the end of this session. So if you have to leave at any point, don't worry about that. You will get all of these materials as well as the slides once the webinar wraps up. So just to give you a quick little teaser of the trends that we're going to be exploring together today, we are going to be talking about mobile transactions. So the fact that 70% of transactions are now all done from mobile devices and what that means for your organization. Digital wallet usage is booming. Recurring giving is on the rise. Impact data boosting donations by 4 times, and how to use AI to personalize your donation requests. So these are the 5 big trends, and we will get into them one by one. I'm just going to start by quickly asking you guys a question. So have you made a purchase on your mobile device in the last month? I'm going to just launch this poll quickly, and I will let you guys answer yes or no. Ooh, so many answers with one that is way more popular than the other. Okay, I'll allow some time for a few more answers to come in. I can definitely confirm that I have made a purchase on my mobile device in the last month. Okay, so it seems that answers have slowed down a little, so I'm going to end this poll and share these results. So as you can see, yes, people are making purchases on their mobile devices. It is 81% of just this crowd alone, so 500 people, 80% have made a purchase on their mobile device. And that really speaks volumes, and it is definitely a trend that we are seeing in online fundraising as well. So 70% of transactions are being done on mobile, and this is just what we've noticed from our personal data at Zephy, our transaction data looking at that. So online donations are really on the rise. Most donors now in 2025 prefer to give online, and fundraising is really no different from your purchasing trends. So, if you're going online, shopping for your Christmas gifts and making purchases online, people are doing the exact same thing with doing online donations. It is just at our fingertips and super, super convenient. And with it being online, that means that giving through mobile devices is also increasing in popularity. So you can see here just the device usage distribution. This is, as I said, from our personal data. So this is over 50,000 organizations who are using Zephy. This is 800 million transactions, $800 million in transactions. So you can see here that just in 2023, it was already at 50% of donors who are giving online, who are giving through a mobile device. And within a year, it's already up. It's up by 40% year over year. So we're already at 70% of people who are visiting forms and making donations online through a mobile device. So this key takeaway for you guys is make sure that your forms are mobile friendly. So what does that mean? Not only does it look good on mobile, but that it's easy to navigate on mobile. So super important to consider when you're sharing your form up on your website, what is the best way to do that when someone is visiting on a desktop versus mobile. Usually when you're designing your forms designing your websites, you should be able to have like 2 versions of your website, so that one that is more desktop friendly and one that is more mobile friendly. The main thing on mobile that we want is not only does it look good, but how easy is it to navigate? How many clicks does it take for someone to get to your form and get to that end result of, I came here to give a donation and I was able to quickly make one. So really, really important to test your donation forms on your mobile. It can be done very quickly, but usually when we're putting things together, we're working on a desktop just because it's so much easier to navigate. But then you have to consider that the person that you're sharing this out to is most likely going to be looking at it on their phone. So just make sure that everything looks good on that end, and you can very quickly test it out before launching it out to the public. Our second big trend here is the use of digital wallets. So we can see from our figures here that in 2023, 7% of payments were being made using a digital wallet. This is through Zephy. And then in 2024, that increased to 30% of transactions being done on a digital wallet. So digital wallet, I'm talking about Apple Pay and Google Pay. So important to keep in mind, just because this is a 300% increase, which is obviously quite a bit for just 1 year. This growth was slightly amplified by some changes that we did make on our end to promote higher conversion and easier giving. So I just used the term conversion, but just to sort of explain what that is briefly. Conversion is taking someone from the intention to the action of donating. So when I said they land on your form with the intent to donate, and then they end up making that donation, that means that they converted. So we made some simple UI changes on our forms where Apple Pay and Google Pay are suggested to people who have those payment methods enabled on their devices to facilitate the payment process. So that is important to take into consideration when looking at these percentages. 300% increase is obviously a lot, but it also really speaks volumes to the trends and to people's preferences, because this is over, again, $800 million in transactions. So it really does speak volumes to the adoption of this payment method preference. So the key takeaway here is just to make sure that you're saving people the hassle of having to key in their credit card information, and even better, making sure that the payment processing solution that you're using allows them to benefit from an express checkout. What is an express checkout? That is an excellent question. That is when not only are we pulling the payment information that is stored on their device from their Apple or Google Wallet, but we're also pulling that contact information, which really, really speeds up the process. So I was saying before, people land on your form. Typically, 70% of them are on a mobile device. The less clicks that we have in that case, the better. The less information that they have to key in, even better. So when you have the digital wallet payment method available to your donors, you can also make sure that they're benefiting from Express Checkout, which pulls their name, their email, sometimes even their address, and they don't even have to enter any of that information before they can continue and complete their payment. So those really do go hand in hand nicely together, and it's a super, super important factor to consider when you are choosing your online donation payment processor. So, okay, diving into our third trend, which is recurring giving. So recurring giving is really on the rise. Just some quick stats. Between 2022 and 2023, revenue from monthly giving increased by 6%, which was accounting for 31% of all online revenue for over 200 nonprofits of all sizes. So this really just indicates to us that people are choosing to become recurring givers to organizations. And in 2018 to 2022, the average nonprofit saw the number of recurring donors grow by 127%. So what does this mean for you? This means considering how in 2025, if you aren't already, how are you encouraging people to give on a recurring basis? And whether is that a membership program that you're possibly thinking of implementing, or if you have a membership program, what is your plan for pushing it? And then also if maybe memberships isn't necessarily what's most in line with your organization and your organization's activities. Maybe that means considering launching a monthly donors incentivization campaign. So just figuring out how you can put recurring giving options out there for your donors, for people of your community who want to support you, because recurring giving really works. It really has shown that it builds loyalty and trust on the donor's end, and also it provides steady recurring revenue for your nonprofit, which is really the goal at the end of the day. So Yeah, just making sure that monthly and yearly donation options are available to your supporters. And then I was also talking about membership programs and really just deciding if that is what is most relevant to you. So on Zeffy, we do offer both of those options. So on all of our donation forms, people have the option to become a monthly recurring donor. But then we also have a membership program where you can have yearly and monthly members all coming through Zeffy. So another little tidbit that we have here, which is going to lead me into my fourth trend that I want to discuss, is showing the impact of what giving monthly means to your organization. So if you are launching a membership program, or you are thinking of launching like maybe a monthly donors fundraising appeal, then think about how you can frame it so that people really understand, what does being a recurring giver mean to this organization? How is my consistent giving allowing them to amplify their impact? And then if it is perhaps a membership program, also finding ways to spin it so that they're understanding how they're possibly benefiting from being a member of your organization. So just some little things to keep in mind when you do decide to push recurring giving options. And this also leads me into my fourth trend, which is that impact data boosts donations by 4 times. So we've always known that showing the impact of donations is really critical for fundraising, but research is showing now that providing specific impact data can boost your donations by 4 times. So that's pretty huge. And the ways that you can do this are pretty simple. Just making sure that it's really quantified when you are launching that fundraising appeal, or like these are examples of Zeffy forms and Zeffy users, people who have these like up on their website. So as we can see here in this first example, it was a peer-to-peer campaign that was set up to purchase snowsuits for children in need in the community. And here, this is perfect quantifiable data, because they explicitly state that $60 is equal to one high quality new snowsuit. So really giving people the full picture of what their donation is going to allow you to achieve can really help people donate. And what was so interesting about this campaign is that just adding this specific information about how $60 equals this, we really noticed that all of the donations that were made were in increments of 60. So people really take that information and apply it to the actual donation amount that they end up giving. Then I also loved this example from a website of one of our users. So just below their donation form, they really explicitly explain, okay, this is what $10 allows us to achieve. This is what $100 allows us to achieve. And that really helps people understand, okay, how much can I give and what impact am I having when I am giving? So sharing clear, quantified results on your donation forms really is the key here. So just to show the example of the difference between narrative impact, which is, and how it is different from quantified data. So the narrative here is basically just an impact description. So this organization provides free access to safe water. So in this case, we're understanding what the organization is achieving with donations, but we're not necessarily understanding how much is actually needed to provide this to the community. So quantified data would go that extra mile and say $1 provides 2 people with free and reliable access to safe water. And then with this stat, you can say, and this is the number of people that are in need of access to safe water. And then people understand, okay, this is how far my dollar is going for X amount of people. And that can really incentivize people to give more. Okay, jumping in to my last trend, which is about using AI for your nonprofit. So I've got another little poll and I appreciate your participation. So you can let me know, are you currently using AI in your organization's operations today? So you can say yes, you can say no, and I have no desire to, or you can say no, but I would like to learn how. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, I'm excited to share these results. I'm just gonna let a couple more people answer because it's pretty neck and neck here. I do, sorry, just while people are answering in the poll, I do just want to acknowledge I'm seeing the questions coming in. I also see that someone does have their hand raised. I won't be taking any raised hands, but we will be getting into the questions in the Q&A. Please use the Q&A. It's much easier to manage. So yeah, Q&A function and chat, we will be answering those questions soon. And shout out to Sumaya, who's doing a great job. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, everyone, for all the questions. And just a quick note, you can also see a list of the answered questions in the Q&A to see any responses that have already been sent if you might have a similar question.
Amazing, thank you. Okay, so here are our results. Are you using AI in your nonprofit organization today? It's pretty neck and neck. There's 40% people saying no, but they would like to, and 47% saying no, and 44 saying yes. So pretty tied. And then we have an 8% who has no desire to use AI. That's fine. Oh, sorry, I didn't share my results. Here they are. So you can take a look at them as well with me. But it's so interesting, and it is obviously a super hot topic today. And for those of you who are saying no, but you would like to learn how, this little segment is for you. So now we're going to get into it. So 80% of nonprofits do believe that AI can transform their work, but many struggle to implement it. So the tip that we have for you today is just start small. AI, it's a bit of a, how does it really work? You know, not everybody knows. And if you're not super techie, or if you don't have time to do the deep dive into it, it can seem super intimidating. But trust me when I say it is not that scary and actually adds a lot of value, especially when it comes to just the efficiency of overall processes. The trick here is to really just start small. So here is one little example of a great place that you can start is by using it to write your copy. So you're putting together your donation form descriptions, you are putting together your fundraising appeal, or you're writing your donor thank you letters. I personally love using just ChatGPT as a way to get a good baseline, just to get a good start of, okay, I have so many ideas of what I want to say, how I want to say it, but I'm just not always that inspired. So sometimes just plugging in all my thoughts into ChatGPT, and it'll spit something back out at me, and I'm like, okay, great, now I have my core and I can go in and personalize and refine it and really make it my own after. So it doesn't necessarily have to be all one or the other when it comes to AI. You can really like just use it as kind of a way to get a nice base layer and then personalize as you go. So it really becomes like an assistant to you. So now we're going to get into kind of how you can use the prompts to make sure that your copy is appealing to donors. How would you go about doing that? Well, number one, you would share your brand style guide. So include some details on your tone of voice, your writing style. You can also provide some examples of communications that you would like to emulate. So if you donated and you received a thank you letter that you just thought, wow, it was so nicely put together, and I would really love to do something similar for my organization, you can provide it with some basics information about your campaigns, your donor demographic, et cetera, and then add that little copy that you would really like to emulate and say, provide something similar to this. And it can absolutely do that for you. And then, like I was saying, you just refine and reuse it. So just improving the prompts over time and telling it, okay, well, I like this, but this is how I actually would have wanted this to be phrased. And it's going to remember that and spit that back out the next time that you go to use it. So like I said in the beginning, you are going to be receiving these slides. So there's a lot of content on these slides, but they're super, super helpful in creating your first prompts if you don't really know where to start. Because the main thing about using AI is knowing how to talk to it. So we'll go through this first example of creating a fundraising campaign awareness email. And then we have two other slides for an event invitation and a donor thank you email that you'll be able to go ahead and use the next time if you're curious about prompting ChatGPT. So first of all, you want to tell it what it is. So is it an email copywriter? Is it a social media specialist for your organization? Giving it a title actually helps it understand better what the actual action and content it should be providing to you after you're done prompting it. So then here you're saying exactly like who it is, what your organization is, and explaining it how your brand, what your brand voice is. So is it warm and inviting? Is it engaging? Is it professional? You can completely tailor it to that. Then you can instruct it on the exact number of words that you want it to be generating for you and the emotion that you're trying to get it to generate. So do you want it to be excitement or intrigue or compassion? You can totally instruct it to do all of those things and then provide a few more details about your campaign, like the name, the start date, and the basics of the mission. And then you have a few more guidelines that you can share with it. So these are all really just examples, and then you can completely tailor it and make it your own, but instructing it that you want a compelling hook, or maybe you want a friendly greeting to start off with, stating why your campaign matters and how it impacts your cause. Maybe you want it to provide you with a clear CTA here is a call to action. So how, like at what point in your communication should you be plugging that in? If you just ask it to do that for you, it totally can. So this would probably spit out a really great fundraising campaign awareness email, and I highly encourage you to give it a try the next time you're launching a campaign. Then we also have some other prompts here. I won't go through all of them, but like I said, this is a nice event awareness email, a prompt to write one that you could use moving forward. And then lastly, we have one for a donor thank you email. So these slides will be sent to you. You can copy paste this and see what it can do for you. Okay, so we're about 30 minutes in. I just want to quickly recap the trends that we dove into today so that you really feel like you are leaving today's session with some actionable takeaways. So the 5 donation trends to use in 2025 are: number 1, user friendliness. Make your forms mobile friendly. Test them out on a phone before you launch. Super, super important. Remember, 70% of people are going to be looking at your donation form and your website on a mobile device. Number 2 is payment methods. Having digital wallet options and making sure that your online donation software allows you to provide that payment method option to your supporters, super important. And it's an even better bonus when they have fast checkout. So as a reminder, fast checkout is when that contact information is being pulled from what is saved in the digital wallet, so they don't even have to enter that information when they go to give. And then remembering recurring giving is on the rise, finding out ways to encourage your donors to make monthly donations or start a monthly membership or even yearly. Recurring giving is really great for building your community and also just ensuring that stable revenue for your organization. Number 4, describing impact. Adding numerical data to your forms to boost donations has a huge impact. Remember, it is increasing donations times 4. So that's pretty huge. And if, I am not the first person to sit down and try and quantify anything. I am not the most math savvy, but really at the end of the day, it has a huge, huge impact on how people understand. So it's worth taking that time to sit down and say, okay, how can I really express what every dollar allows me to achieve? Can have a really big impact. And then lastly, efficiency is using AI to personalize your donation requests, and lots of other little tasks that you might have to do. AI can have a really big impact on efficiency, allowing you to focus on other things. And the main tip here is just start small. Start with something that you are just curious about, figuring out how to prompt it a bit better. Go little by little. There is lots to know and find out, but it's not as intimidating as it's made out to be. So those are the top 5. Now, just some other quick essentials to keep in mind when you are launching donation campaigns. And this is specifically I'm speaking specifically of donation campaigns, but this can really go for any online fundraising that you're doing. But just some essentials of online fundraising to keep in mind are, number 1, use consistent branding. So making sure that your logo is present on your forms, on your communications, your colors are consistent, you're adding video content that is in line and relevant with your mission, and then the overall tone is similar, so that way people feel this sense of familiarity. Remember, people are donating and giving money, so it's important that they feel a type of reassurance and trusting when they're going to make an online payment, and having consistent branding can really help with that. Number 2 is allowing your donors to share your forms on social media. So especially donation forms, your donors obviously support you by giving money, but they can also support you by giving your campaigns visibility. So even just adding a little thing about like, here's how you can share a form, or feel free to share this with your network. Just prompting them in that way can sometimes inspire people to say like, oh yes, okay, this cause, which is very dear to my heart, I would really like more people to go ahead and support it as well. It might actually incentivize them to give it a share on a Facebook post, for instance. Then if it's relevant to your campaign, sometimes adding a sense of urgency to your donation campaign with a donation progress bar can have a really big impact. So again, we were talking about quantifiable data, so showing people not only what every dollar allows you to achieve, but also how much are you actually trying to raise and how close are you to that goal. So it's not always relevant for every donation campaign effort, but sometimes if you have, like, for example, Giving Tuesday is always such a great classic example of how this can really incentivize people to give on that specific day, is if you come up with a number that you're saying this would really have a huge impact for us to meet our end of year fundraising goal, then sharing that with people can really incentivize them to give more. And then finally, allowing tribute donations. So tribute donations are donations that are made in memory or in honor of someone else. And they actually represent 33% of online donations. So just giving that option to your supporters can have a really, really great impact. Okay, so that is all for the trends. And so I recognize that, probably some of you are already using Zephy. Like I said, I think I saw a few names that I recognize in there. So some of you are already using Zephy, but some of you may not be. And if this is your first time, interacting with Zephy, I hope it was a great first interaction and that there will be many more. But yeah, just helping you understand how you can use Zephy to maximize your impact. So all of the trends that we just discussed are all features that we actually have in the platform. So all of our donation forms and all of our forms actually are designed with mobile experience in mind. Secondly, we do have fast checkout on all of our forms. You have the option to accept recurring gifts through Zephy. So we have monthly and yearly donation options, as well as membership programs that are, we have monthly and yearly memberships that you can use. We do have some AI elements here and there throughout the platform. So you'll notice that sometimes maybe when you're building your forms, or if you're going to write emails, that we have templates and little snippets that we have provided for you to make the process of writing that copy easier. So that is sort of like a form of AI, because we also used it to generate those templates and just to help you guys get started with writing that copy. So those are ways in which Zephy can help you stay trendy in 2025. But also you can maximize your impact by using Zephy by just benefiting from the fact that we are 100% free. So Zephy currently has 50,000 nonprofits using the platform. They are using the only 100% free fundraising platform. So when I say free, it's not only do you have access to all of our tools and features at no cost, but we also cover processing fees on your behalf. So why do we do that? Is a very common question that we get. But that's because $3 billion is what is currently being spent by nonprofit organizations on just credit card fees alone. This does not include amounts paid to use quality online fundraising technology, which can really, really add up. But this is processing fees. So this is why we cover processing fees on your behalf. We truly want you to take back 100% of the donations that are being made to your organization through our platform, which is why we take on that cost. And we are funded solely through voluntary contributions from donors. So at the payment step, donors have the option to leave a contribution to Zephy if they want to continue supporting us in our mission of providing free quality fundraising technology to nonprofits in North America. And yeah, just to give you a quick little overview of where we're currently at, we have processed over 800 million for the nonprofits that are using our platform, for the 50,000 nonprofits using our platform. We have helped nonprofits save around $40 million. So we are chipping away at that $3 billion goal, and we have lots of progress to keep making there. But 40 million is nothing to ignore. And finally, we've had over 200,000 fundraising campaigns launched on the platform since we started in the fundraising space 5 years ago. So if you didn't know Zephy before, I hope that you feel you know us a little bit better now. And okay, without further ado, we have 20 minutes left, so I can answer some of the questions that came through in the chat. I'm happy to answer anything about the trends, but also about the platform. So I will go over to the Q&A, but Sumaya, if anything came up throughout the presentation that you think I should address immediately, I would be happy to.
Yeah, that's a great point, Tanya. So actually, we had a question from David Friendly. So thanks for your question, David, which I thought other organizations might be interested in knowing. And he asked if we have any tips for deciding how much to suggest for monthly giving, or generally otherwise, how much you should enter in those suggested amounts on our donation forms.
Yeah, that's such a great question. And it really, really depends. So with those suggested amounts, and if you've never used a Zephy donation form before, just to give you a quick sort of idea of what we might be referring to, is on all of our donation forms, there is a free entry text box, but there's 4 suggested amounts up at the top. And our research has shown with how people interact with the form that people will typically donate either the second or the third amount that is suggested. So when you're thinking about the amount to suggest to people, go with a mix of what is the average donation amount that your organization receives, but also what is actually going to help you reach your fundraising goals. So there's a really big difference between an organization who's trying to raise 5,000 versus 50,000. And maybe, if you're trying to provide like medical supplies, it's going to be a very different amount from an organization that might be more like community-based and just trying to put together some fundraising activities for their community to enjoy. So really the range is so different, and it's so hard to just put a number on it. But really like sitting down and figuring out, and you can even ask ChatGPT because it will probably come up with a great answer for you. But you could say like, okay, this is my goal, or this is like on average, the things that I try and accomplish with, or like, this is what our organization tries to accomplish. This is how much we need to accomplish this. And so how can I align this with what is the average amount? What's the demographic that I'm currently interacting with? How much are they giving? And then where those suggested amounts come into play is you want to go for something, you want to take your average and then just boost it a little bit. Put that as the second and third amount that's being suggested to your donors. And then the first amount suggested should be the lowest and the fourth should be the highest. So then you could go for some more extremes, but try not to do something that's like, you could do 10 or you could do 1,000 because then people get very confused. So try and keep them kind of cohesive within the same range, and then really playing on the fact that people usually go between the second and third amount is important to keep in mind. So I can't really give you an exact dollar amount, but that's such a great question. And it's one that comes up a lot. So really just making sure that it's what suits your fundraising needs and what your donors contribute on average. I hope that helps. Okay, I'll scroll through the Q&A. Okay, I am seeing a question here about somebody saying that you want to move your donations over. So sounds like you're already using Zephy for some of our features, but you're thinking of using our software for donations. So that's awesome. And how you can make that shift more seamlessly for your donors. That's a great question. The platform does allow you to import your donor information, so nothing will get lost in that transition. And again, the import process is free. So all you really need to do is go and extract that information from the current software that you're using. Sounds like you're using Square for collecting donations online. So go in, pull that data, and you can use our import function to put it all into the platform. That way all that contact data is there. And then you can just progressively start emailing people more and more and sharing that donation form, that Zephy donation form with them. And familiarizing them more and more with Zephy. So informing them that you're making a switch, and sometimes even just explaining like our business model can be interesting for them too, saying like we found a way to maximize the donations that you are currently giving us. Like if you have bigger donors, you could also explain to them like you are currently giving us $100 a month, and we're only taking back 95 because the rest is being that $5 every month is being spent on covering costs. Now with Zephy, you can give 100 and we take back 100. And really explaining to them how using Zephy can have an impact might also make them want to transition over to using Zephy more consistently. And then also just replacing your donation form that's on your website currently with your Zephy donation form is just a nice way, because people will obviously always go back to the website to find ways to give. So I think just progressively sharing it out is a nice way to make the shift. And then, yeah, explaining who Zephy is and importing all of that data over into the platform is super helpful. Okay, I'm seeing some questions about like cybersecurity. So I think what I would recommend here is just making sure that you check out our help center. We have lots of information on how we protect donor data. And the most important thing to keep in mind really is that we partner with Stripe. So Stripe is a online payment processor, and they are PCI Level 1 compliant, which means that they respect the highest levels of online payment and payment data security in the industry. So rest assured that anything that is bank or payment related is being stored and processed through Stripe, and Zephy protects your donor information. We have lots of security measures in place. We store it using Amazon Web Services, but you can read more about how we protect your donor data by just visiting our help center. A question about our business model. So what is the rate of donations that we receive, and is it sustainable? That's a great question, and it is one that we get frequently when people hear that we are funded solely through voluntary contributions. So the average contributions that we see are, so firstly, 60% of donors who come through a Zephy form will leave a contribution. 40% of people do not. And the average, and sorry, I mentioned that because just to really illustrate that it is truly voluntary. So 40% of people do come through Zephy forms and do not leave a contribution, and that's okay. That's the beauty of the model, because we understand that it's not everybody who can always contribute. But that shouldn't be at a cost to your organization either. So there are some fundraising platforms that operate on a system that allows donors to either cover the cost, or then they're passed along to the nonprofit. So in this case, when a donor isn't able to cover the funds, or sorry, to cover the processing fees, Zephy does it anyways. So yeah, 60% of people will make a contribution to Zephy when they come through a form, and the average amount is around 5% of the total transaction amount that's being processed. Okay. And then do we have reports that can be run from the program? Yes, Kimberly, that's a great question. We do have tons of reporting options on the platform. You can run reports on your contacts, from your payout information, from your sales. So there's lots of different spots on the platform where you can go and export your data. We also have like some graphics that allow you to kind of get an in-depth and better look at your fundraising trends, seeing when are more popular times for you in the year. And yeah, that can be all done on Zephy. For Tom asking if Zephy is just like PayPal, yes, we are essentially like a PayPal. The only difference is we don't charge fees, and I think our donor management system is a bit more advanced than PayPal's.
Can I jump in for a second here, Tanya?
1000%.
Okay, perfect. So I just wanted to address the fact that a few people are asking about Zephy's CRM capabilities. So Tanya, if you maybe want to give a little bit more detail on those capabilities that Zephy has. We have specifically people asking how they're able to see the donor data in their dashboard after a donor has made a payment on their Zephy form.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, that's a great question. So what's super nice is that as soon as a payment is made through a Zephy form, the contact data is immediately saved and available to you in Zephy. So there's a contact section where everybody who comes through a form is being saved as a contact, and all of the information that they submit at the time of payment. So if you're collecting address, email, phone number, that is all going to be saved on their contact profile. And you'll be able to go into Zephy. In the contact section, you can segment your contacts. So you can filter your list by, let's say, everybody who attended one event, or everybody who completed your online donation form, or all of your donors who gave more than $1,000. So these are all filtering options that you have. You can also personalize that a little bit more. You have the option to add notes to your contacts. So if you have any special things that you want to mention about people, there's a notes field. You can also use tags to create segments of your contacts. So if you want to be able to quickly pull a list of everyone who has volunteered with your organization in the past, you could tag them all as volunteers and then quickly pull that list. I'm talking about pulling lists, but also you can email them directly in the platform, which makes it super simple, because you don't really need to be like pulling the list and then putting them into another emailing tool. You can really just grab like a segment of your contacts or an individual contact and quickly send them an email straight from Zephy. So yeah. I think those are the most like important contact features that I would mention. Sumi, I know that you're typing, but if you have anything that you think I should add to that answer that I just give, feel free to jump in.
No, I think you answered that very well. And if anyone needed more specific details, I sent some answers in the chat about a webinar that we actually hosted last year about Zephy's CRM capabilities, so you can get a little bit more comfortable with our emailing features, so on and so forth. So if you want to check that out, you can also check out our support page, and we have tons and tons of resources to help you out with all your donor management needs.
Awesome, thank you. A quick interesting question here is, will Zephy be adding an auction feature? It's done, we have one. So in Zephy, just to give a quick kind of glimpse at all of the different features that we have. So we have donations, obviously. We have peer-to-peer campaigns, which is like when your supporters are able to join in on your fundraising with you and create their own personal form to fundraise on your behalf. We have event forms. We have membership options, auction, which is our newest one. We also have online store form capabilities, and then we have more customizable forms. So that way you can really kind of tailor them and fine tune them to meet your fundraising needs. Oh, and we have a raffle option. Okay, I do see a few questions. Oh, I just see a few questions about Zephy Tap to Pay. So I can just quickly touch on that. We do have an app that is currently only available on iPhone, but it is available in both Canada and the US, Tap to Pay, where you have to have a Zephy account before you start using the app. You have to create your fundraising forms in Zephy online. And then you can go download the app to your iPhone, and it essentially turns your phone into a payment processing device. So people can just tap their credit card on the phone and finish their payment. So that has been super, super highly requested. So we initially launched on iPhone in the US only, and then we very recently, well, in the last few months, made it available in Canada as well, which is great. And people are asking about Android, and we are working hard on making it available on Android, but it's just not quite there yet. So it's currently still iPhones only. And I want to emphasize iPhone, not iPad. iPads do not have card reader capabilities, so it really will be on iPhones only. Is there a limit to how much money you can raise without fees? Yeah, no, there is no limit to how much you can fundraise on Zephy. There isn't limits to much that you can do on Zephy. You can have as many forms and campaigns as you need. You can send out as many emails from the platform as you want. There is no paid version of Zephy, and there is no fee at any point for anything that you will be doing on the platform. One thing that I do want to mention is just the payment processing limits. So I just want to make sure that I'm not misunderstanding this question about like a $300,000 payment. So that would exceed the limits of how much can be processed on a form. It's up to $10,000 at a time. Can we feature Zephy as a partner on a social media post? Yes, you can absolutely do that. You can always make mention of Zephy on your posts. If anything, it's so great when people understand that not only are you really maximizing every dollar that they donate by using our platform, but also when they get a better understanding of Zephy and how we work and how we support organizations, because by explaining our business model to people, that only encourages them to support us in addition to supporting you. And it really creates this great dynamic where Zephy and donors can come together to just support nonprofits and provide quality free fundraising technology to you to allow you to fundraise better online and make the most of everything that you are working so hard to fundraise.
I'd also just like to jump in here, Tanya, if you don't mind. We got a really great question from Michael Samuels. Thanks for your question, asking if it would be possible to design the form to align with your brand's colors and stay consistent with your your logo's color scheme. So I think that this is a really great point, especially in terms of allowing your donors to really understand who you are as an organization and aligning all of your fundraising efforts with your marketing efforts as well. So Zephy has really awesome capabilities where you're able to definitely customize the colors of your form, which you can do in the customization section of your form editor. And you can upload a logo and a banner. And we really do encourage you to go in and add in as much detail as you can so that you communicate your identity as an organization to your donors consistently and with a lot of liveliness.
Yeah, no, awesome. That's such a great point. And another thing that I wanted to mention that I sort of forgot to mention when I was talking about AI and how it can help your organization. You can also ask it to help you with building with your brand in that sense. So, maybe if you don't necessarily have the resources to have a brand director or a marketing director, and you're sort of, smaller organizations, you're doing it all and you're not really sure where to start, you can say, this is my mission, this is my tone, this is the message that I want to convey, this is the current graphics and visuals that I'm working with. Plug that into ChatGPT and say, how can I, make this more of a uniform brand image that I'm trying to put out there, and then just use that to keep building off of moving forward. So that's another way that it can be very helpful for you. We have Colleen asking if Zephy can replace MailChimp. Yes, we can. And if you're currently using MailChimp, we have a feature that allows you to quickly import all of your MailChimp contacts. So that is also something that you might be interested in looking into. But yes, you can send mass emails from Zephy. We have an email building tool that allows you to customize your emails. You can add clickable links, you can add images. And we are putting lots and lots of love into this feature at this time. So super exciting for people to start exploring and using our email tool a little bit more, just because we are coming out with a lot of new features for it. So it's a good time to be looking into it. Okay, we have 2 minutes left. So 2 minutes left. So I just want to really maximize. I'm just trying to read through these as quickly as I can. One question here is, how difficult is it to reach a person at Zephy if you need assistance? So our support team is very, very responsive. I would like to think that it's not near impossible to get in touch with us. The ways to get in touch with us are up on our website, and we host weekly demos where you can come for a live Q&A session. We have a chat function, so that's available up on our website as well as in your Zephy account, and we offer live chat from 9 to 5 Eastern Standard Time. And so those are options to get in touch with us. We do have a call request form up on our website, and you can always also just request an email from us through that same form. So I like to think that it's easy to get in touch. I feel like I'm always in touch with people, so shouldn't be too hard. But and our support team is rated a 4.9 on 5 on Capterra, I believe, if I'm referring to the correct resource. So we do offer quality and quick support.
Yes, definitely. It's important to note as well, usually our response time that we aim for, and we are pretty much sticking within the confines of, is a 4 to 6 hours response to your initial email that you send to our support team. So you're always going to be able to get a response from us the same day that you're asking your question.
For sure. Okay. Okay, it is 1 p.m. Someone's asking about how many languages does Zephy offer, is Zephy available in? So if you're in Canada, you have access to the platform in French. Donc, vous aurez accès à la plateforme en français. And if you are in the US, you would also have access to being able to translate your forms into Spanish. And I would say that in Spanish, but I don't want to embarrass myself. Okay, I do see that there's tons of questions here. I do hope that we were able to answer some, and I really encourage you. So Sumaya answered a ton of questions today. Please go through them. We will also be sharing the Q&A when we send out the slides and the webinar content. So you'll be able to go in and check that out. We'll also, in the recap email, be providing the important links to our, I'll be going through these questions, and we can take a look at which articles might be most relevant to suggest that you guys take a look at. So anything about tap to pay, building an auction form, setting up your Zephy account, I will be sure to direct you guys to all of those resources. But our time is currently up. So I really, really appreciate you guys taking the time to join me today and for answering and for asking all of these great questions. Thank you so, so much. And I look forward to potentially seeing some of your names come up in the inbox and assisting you further. So thank you all and have a great rest of the day. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, bye.